Now I hear all too often, both in, work-related relationships as well as my own private relations, that people insisting, that you just get over it, that you're experiencing some type of emotional duress, and, just to get over it, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, the individual that's telling you to get over it is still doing the same things to you that upset you. Now, how can you heal something that's still continuing to happen to you? How can you be in a situation where an individual is telling you and your family to get over something, to stop being so emotionally charged about it and to move on with your life, when they're still continuing to perpetuate the same disruptive behavior that created the wound in the first place? How can you heal a wound that is continuing to be ripped open, reopened? You can't. How can you heal when those that are closest to you or those that you live with still continue to perpetuate the same things, the same disruptive behaviors that caused the damage in the first place? You can't. And in fact, the best thing you can do is remove yourself entirely from that situation, from that circumstance, from those types of relationships. Now, if you're unable to remove yourself from these types of situations and circumstances, environments, then the only thing you can really do is recognize that this individual is operating from their highest level of consciousness, and to not take it personally. But this is of course all in theory and all, sounds good on paper, but is, easier said than done. And usually ultimately results in an individual trying to be the bigger person, until ultimately they explode. And let me tell you right now, there's nothing productive about that. There's nothing healthy about that. Which is why I go back to answer number one, which is you need to remove yourself from that situation, from that relationship. At least distance yourself as much as possible. And I'm not saying hate people. I'm not saying don't love people. But sometimes you gotta love people from afar because they're just too destructive, to see any type of reform, to make any healthy developmental patterns in their life. You see, because it's one thing when you're trying to mend a relationship and you're trying to move forward with your life and you're trying to make changes, but the other person isn't. When someone's not willing to respect your boundaries, then the chances are that they don't have your best interests at heart. Which is why you gotta learn when to put yourself first. You gotta learn when to protect yourself. You have to learn when to let go of situations or experiences that are quite honestly not necessary. Because not everything is. Some things are redundant in nature. Some things you've already experienced. You could go through this a million times, and until you just finally say, okay, enough is enough, I'm putting my foot down, then it's just going to continue to happen. But it takes you recognizing when enough is enough, and it takes you putting yourself first and understanding your value and your worth and your boundaries and, having that self-love for yourself first, foremost. Otherwise you're left drained. Otherwise you're left with nothing. Otherwise you're left being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying?